Hello, Molweni. Welcome to my channel, welcome to my corner, welcome to my space. My name is Onela Sikobelana. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much. I see you, new Sabi, and thank you very much for liking and commenting and sharing my videos on your social media spaces. And also, if you are a new subscriber but you have not set that notification button, then please do so. Set that notification button so that whenever a new video is being uploaded, you are the first one to see it. You are being notified about it, and also you are the first to comment, to like, and to watch it. So today I want to talk about being a grounded Christian. It's something I have been looking at during the lockdown, that it's so difficult to be a grounded Christian now, and also it's also very important that you be a grounded Christian with so much that is happening, with so much that is being said and that we see, because I've been watching a lot of programs on TV, I've been reading a lot of comments on social media, posts and all of that, and we say something is that are we grounded Christians? Because there are so many things that are shaking Christianity, that are shaking the salvation that we have within ourselves, that are shaking the kind of God that we serve, that are shaking each and everything that makes us us. And when I'm sharing about this, I'd love to tap in and talk about the story of Nehemiah in the Bible. It's one of my favorite stories, and one of the stories, one of the people that I believe were one of the most unshakable Christians in the Bible, people in the Bible. When we talk about Nehemiah, we talk about a man that was very prayerful, a man that depended fully on God, a man that heard God speak to him and responded. And when Nehemiah was given a task to go rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he was given a task. The walls of Jerusalem had fallen, so when he tasked Nehemiah to go rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. So Nehemiah now, he was a cupbearer. That's, you find that first chapter of Nehemiah. He was a cupbearer to the king. Now, when you are a cupbearer to the king, number one, you must always be a cheerful person. Otherwise, being a cupbearer to the king, you cannot go and present yourself before the king carrying your problems, carrying whatever bothers you, putting your feelings before everything else. When you're a cupbearer to the king, you must go before the king with a cheerful face, meaning that whenever you go there, you must forget everything else and just be professional and be the cupbearer. Because whenever you were to present yourself to the king in a manner that is kind of confusing, it would be interpreted as though you are plotting against the king. So Nehemiah had the task that as a cupbearer, he is to present himself to the king not in any other way that would be confusing. Secondly, as a cupbearer, Nehemiah had the duty of carrying the wine to the king, and when he carries it, he should make sure that it does not spill. He should make sure that the wine is not poisoned, and he should make sure that it's wine of good quality. So that meant he held quite a very important role. And in the days, it was believed that when you are a cupbearer to the king, you're more like the king's assistant. You are trusted so much, and it was not anyone was appointed as a cupbearer. You had to be someone who's trusted. You had to be someone of high caliber before you can be appointed as a cupbearer to the king. Now, what amazes me in him being a cupbearer to the king is that the walls of Jerusalem had fallen. He went before the king, and with these news that are troubling him, with these news that are frustrating to him, with these news that are unpleasant to him, he went before the king, and he went to do his job, which is to carry the wine to the king. Now, he did not have to say to the king, I'm bothered. He did not have to say to the king, this is what's troubling me. But he went to the king being professional each and every day, being unshaken by what is happening in his surrounding, being unshaken by what is troubling him, but always going before the king. What now makes me relate to this story is that there are so many things that are happening around us. There are so many things that are shaking ukholo lethu, are shaking our salvation, are shaking yonke into that we believe in. And at the very same time, we ought to be like Nehemiah, because Nehemiah understood that his job as a cupbearer is to protect the wine that he's carrying, is to make sure that despite everything else, despite how he's feeling, despite all things, this wine that he is carrying is not supposed to spill, because once it spills, it's going to create problems for him. Once he presents the wine to the king, being unpleasant in his face, it's going to create problems for him. So now he had to make it a point that despite yonga into, as he's carrying this wine, he ought to carry it in a manner that is presentable to the king. So as Nehemiah does this, it reminds me that as Christians, with everything that's happening around us, with this pandemic that is out there, and with all these posts that we keep seeing surrounding this pandemic out there, we ought to be careful with what we are carrying. What we are carrying is something valuable. What is within us is something valuable, is something that we need to be careful about. Just like a woman that is pregnant, you know, when a woman is pregnant, she is very careful with what she feeds her baby. She is very careful with how she walks. She's very careful with how she dresses, because she is protecting what is inside of her. In these trying times, we need to protect what we are carrying. What you are carrying is your gift. What you are carrying is what God has called you to do. So you need to be careful. You need to protect it. You need to make sure that what you are carrying does not spill. You need to protect it. You need to be careful that what you are carrying is, when you go out there, you are not being misinterpreted because of how you portray yourself whilst carrying this thing. And also you need to be careful with it so that you do not lose it. It's difficult. We are exposed to a lot of things, but all I urge you is that be careful with what you are carrying. Be careful, be like Nehemiah, be prayerful, bearing in mind that you are a cupbearer to the king and you are carrying something of great value. So when you are carrying this thing, you need to make it a point that I'll be this. You need to make it a point that you do not compromise. Yes, we are on social media spaces whilst on lockdown, and sometimes it gets boring so much that we can do nandoni na, we slip and all that we have been carrying just like that. So we do not want anything that will taint our faith. We do not want anything that will taint what we are carrying. We do not want anything that will taint the salvation that we have accepted in our lives. So let's be careful because it's difficult, because we are under lockdown. And one thing I said when I was watching some video is that this year is quite a personal year, and its personalness is that we are focusing on ourselves. We are being put in a position where we do a lot of self-introspection, where we work thoroughly on ourselves, and whilst on that, we need to know what we are carrying, to value what we are carrying, to protect it like a pregnant woman. Make sure you do not fall, because when you fall, it will die before it's even been given birth to. If you fall, it will be in another form whilst inside of you. A lot of things will happen. And also be careful of what you eat whilst carrying what you are carrying. When you are pregnant, you do not eat just anything. When you are pregnant, you become so sensitive. You run away from things that are negative, things that will ruin your mindset, that will make you upset. Because let me tell you, when you are pregnant and when you are upset, it upsets the baby, and then you end up having a tummy that is so rigid. So you do not want to experience that. So that is why you need to be careful with what you are carrying. You need to be careful with what you have inside of you. You need to be careful with the kind of thing that you are carrying, and that is your salvation. That is your faith. It is being shaken, and we are being shaken, but be careful with what you are carrying. So mayingathi lockdown xa iphele nawe uphungukene with what you have been carrying for years. Mayingathi lockdown xa iphele nawe uphungukene with what you've just discovered about yourself. Mayingathi lockdown iphele with the wine that you've been carrying to the king as a cupbearer. Because you know what they say, and you don't want to see yourself crying over wine that is spilled all over the place, that you cannot even gather up, and that you can be able to carry it again. So let us be careful with what we do. Let us be careful with how we portray ourselves. Let us be careful with what we watch and what we listen to. And also, lastly, let us be careful with what we say with our mouths, because you know what the Bible says, that whatever we say with our mouth, it comes down from our hearts. And also our tongue, it carries so much power. So be careful of just saying things for the sake of saying them, but rather watch what you say with your tongue. So that is all I wanted to say to you today, is that be a grounded Christian. In these trying times, wena ibalikholwa elimileyo, wena ibalikholwa eligangungqiyo, elingachintshwa zimeko, elingashukunyiswa zimeko, and you will come out of this lockdown being ikholwa that the Lord wants you to be.